I was scratching my head thinking about what anime I could talk about this week. However, since I'm currently reading/watching several different anime, it's gonna take me a minute to work on those. So I thought I wasn't gonna upload again at all this week until I remembered I also love cartoons. If you haven't already, then sub up. It's free 99. That's right. Free 99. Today we're talking about Courage the Cowardly Dog. The episode I'll be going over is The Snowman Cometh. If you weren't aware, Courage the Cowardly Dog was a show on Cartoon Network that aired in November of '99. The show had 23-minute episodes consisting of two 11-minute segments. The episode I'm talking about, The Snowman Cometh, opens in the middle of nowhere, Ice Edition, with an igloo, the opposite of our normal scenery being the middle of nowhere, Desert Edition. We see Muriel, Courage, and Eustace all inside the igloo attempting to keep warm. Eustace complaining that he didn't know their timeshare was in the Arctic, and that he wanted palm trees. Muriel, attempting to lighten the mood, says they'll both feel better after some hot soup, and that she likes the change of weather over the hot sun. Muriel asks Courage to go out and find some wood, and he does once Eustace yells at him, but not before Courage tells us how he feels.
The fire is mighty low.
Well, I don't want to go out there. I'm not a penguin, you know.
Listen, you want him to go out and find wood in this? Something I always enjoyed about Courage is how he'll go through Herculean tasks for Muriel, including going out and looking for wood in the middle of the Arctic. Once outside, Courage takes a look around before seeing a thick-ass snowman, wondering who made it since he knows he didn't. Hearing Eustace yelling about the firewood, Courage takes one of the snowman's arms, happy with this twig for firewood before the snowman comes to life wanting his arm back. The main reason I wanted to even talk about this episode was because of the snowman's voice. I've quoted lines from him for years without context, and I like how he sounds. Paul Schofer did a great job and actually voiced several of the characters on the show, including some of my favorites like Katz, LeQuack, Freaky Fred, the Nowhere News Guy, and Cajun Fox. Love his freaking design. It's so simple, then he takes off his shades and he's fucked. Back at the igloo, Courage attempts to warn Eustace and Muriel of the snowman and the danger he could bring. Muriel assures Courage that everything is fine, offering everyone soup to relax. Courage pouts at the table before Eustace makes him get down. Why even make him go and get wood for? If you weren't gonna let the lad sit at the table, he's cold, look at him. You could have used a stool for firewood. We see how cold it really is as everyone's soup has frozen to their spoons. And for Courage, his soup is stuck to his tongue. He tries to get it off several times before seeing the snowman in the window scaring his tongue free. Attempting to show Muriel and Eustace the snowman at the window before we see that he's gone. He tells them what he saw as they go outside to investigate, seeing absolutely nothing. Eustace tells him to go out and get firewood. Courage attempts to speak for himself before Eustace scares him with his mask, making Courage run off into the distance as Muriel hits Eustace with her frozen soup for scaring Courage. At the snowman's Fortress of Solitude, we get some history about him, learning that there used to be many snowmen and one snow girl, I don't know how that works, as he goes down the pictures reminiscing about his friends. Courage sees the snowman's tracks and follows them to his lair, before losing his eyesight in a small, I guess this is a blizzard, then falling off a cliff, tumbling down the hill into the snowman's fortress, before colliding with a wall, being broken free from the snowball. Now in the fortress, Courage hears a voice as he follows it, hearing the snowman's dilemma and his plan.
How sad to be the last of the snowmen. It's been getting warmer and warmer. And if it continues, I will melt. And there will be no more snowmen. But this is not to be. I have found it. I have found the anti-melting gene of a human being. And how fortunate for me that there are human subjects here I can extract the gene from. I shall have this gene. I will not melt, but the human will.
Courage runs out of the fortress screaming. I don't know how the snowman didn't hear him. That shit was loud. Running until he needs to catch his breath, unfortunately stopping on thin ice, falling in, freezing himself. Back at the igloo, the snowman abducts Muriel and Eustace. Back again with Courage, he finally frees himself from the ice, going to the igloo to see that Muriel's been taken before leaping into action to save her. taking a sleigh and traveling to the Snowman's fortress, where we see the Snowman is taking Eustace's non-melting gene. This scene is hilarious to me because he's just laughing in Eustace's face, told him he wouldn't hurt him, and proceeds to laugh maniacally in his face. Courage bursts through the wall and through the Snowman, making him drop the gene as Eustace takes pride in the fact that someone else called Courage a stupid dog. Snowman flips a switch that drops icicles in a cage-like formation, trapping Courage. Muriel cries out for him, and he melts one of the icicles, reaching Muriel before the Snowman can take her melting gene. Courage puts a Kool-Aid jug on the Snowman's head and rescues Muriel and Eustace as they escape in the sleigh. This part tickles me because all he did was put a jug on his head, yet this man has the audacity to call Courage an assassin after he does it. At the entrance to his fortress, he checks the temperature, seeing that it's rising, realizing that he can't let them get away. He chases them down as they reach ice. The heat is starting to affect Eustace. Courage breaks the ice, and they float away on a chunk of it. Snowman struggles to stop himself, ending up in the water, freezing himself like Courage did earlier. The sun melts Eustace as Courage soaks him up with a sponge. A boat comes and saves them. Back home in the middle of nowhere, Muriel pets Courage as we pan over to see Eustace in a bowl, telling Courage he's a stupid dog, where the episode ends. This might not be the most interesting episode of Courage, but I enjoy it. It introduces a new villain for Courage, Snowman, with an interesting goal of not wanting to melt. Him doing his little monologue didn't take up much time either. It sums up pretty quick, but still gives the Snowman more depth as a character, since we know he had a pretty good life before his friends and girl basically died. I don't know what kind of timeshare they had in the Arctic, but they need to fix that immediately because there is no way. This video was on the shorter side, but I still wanted to put something out for this week. I actually want to talk about other episodes from other cartoons, anime, and shows. I'm also working on bringing in other segments to the channel besides episodes, like arc reviews and character analysis, so look forward to it. But what do you think of this particular episode? Thank you so much for watching this video. Sub up if you ain't already, you're lacking. Don't forget you can do anything you put your mind to. I'm Redwater, and that's all for me.